if you know where you're looking, I've got trails cut through here that I do my workouts on. Including here on Christmas morning. They aren't always the most obvious, not the best maintained, so there's a lot of ducking and weaving. But that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? There are patches of pretty easy hiking, but in our woods, they tend to not last very long. And filming while I'm going up the steepest ridge on the property might not have been the smartest idea. But it wouldn't be a workout if it wasn't difficult. Okay, now we're on the backside of the ridge, going downhill. Of course, that's not a whole lot easier on the knees sometimes. And yes, I know I'm puffing. Again, that's the point. And now we're up on top of the west ridge, toward the back of the property. And here is a Trail T intersection. And I use this to tell me which direction to go in order to change things up. And right back downhill again. And over here is a tree that came down earlier this year, and somebody immediately burrowed in underneath it. And you can see a game trail coming out here, hooking up with my trail. Trees coming down are pretty much a constant issue. And my trail used to go right underneath that tree. But when it came down, I had to divert. And then another piece came down, and I had to divert yet again to get around it. Back at the bottom of the tallest ridge, the middle ridge, just came across there, crossing this meadow. The ridge is up there. And, of course, I'm about to dive back into the woods. I don't know if you can hear all the branches scraping on my hat. That's why I wear a fairly stiff straw hat when I'm out here doing this. A hat that gets to be a little worse for wear after a while. And sometimes when trees come down, I just go over them when they're laying flat enough. And sometimes when the getting around isn't that easy, once a tree comes down, I have to come out here with tools and get it out of the way. When this one came down, right down my trail, that lower branch there was still supporting the trunk up in the air high enough for me to walk underneath it. But then one day, it came down and I had to make yet another diversion. All right, I am back on the west ridge along the back side of the property. Heading toward that T intersection I talked about earlier. And we'll be there in just a moment. And because the jawbone is facing against me, I know not to walk straight through it down that trail, but to turn and go back down that trail. And this marks the halfway point of my workout. The rest of it is running these trails in the reverse order until I get back to the barn. So, have a good holiday, and I'm out.